What's up? What's up? Today we're talking real estate with Haleigh and Colton Kurth. I am your host, Kevin E. Welcome to the show, guys.
Hey, hey.
Hello.
All right, so I'm coming in a little bit blind here. We talked a little bit before this program, but as you guys know, I know nothing about real estate. You are the experts here, and so we're going to be discussing all of that, what you guys do, and hopefully by the end of this episode, myself and our listeners know just a little bit more about what you guys do and what's going on out in Midlow. So first of all, tell me how you guys, how'd y'all meet? How'd y'all get started in this business?
Okay, they're both semi-related. So we actually met at the Midlothian Wine Walk. So one of our friends, he was in real estate with me and apparently went to college with Colton. Yep. And he just said, hey, have you met Colton? And then disappeared. And we never saw him again, and then we got married.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. That's how that happened.
I have to mention this only because Colton kind of, he teed me up for this at the beginning of the show. That sounds a little bit like the Catalina wine mixer.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
You know, we met, walked around that whole day, and same day I met her dad, mom, aunt, uncle, sister, cousin. It was a family affair immediately.
Wow. Yeah, that's you skipped a few steps there.
Yeah, no, we were taking shots early, but
yeah, I didn't know that I was meeting my future husband that day. I was just there to drink a bunch of wine, got randomly introduced to Brandon's friend, which was Colton, and then Brandon disappeared. We didn't see him again for the rest of the night. We drank a bunch of wine. and then
at that time, what were you guys doing professionally?
So I was already in real estate. At that point, I was still in more of an administrative role. And so I was very, very involved in real estate, but on the back end, not necessarily on the selling side. And Colton was actually a therapist.
All right. So tell me about how you make that pivot.
Yeah, it's in life, it's all about timing. And I just finished grad school. I've been working at a mental behavioral health hospital out in East Texas, moved back to Dallas. And a buddy of mine called and said, hey, you need to come meet this girl. And, at the time I had just finished school, just started my first real, career. And, it was just perfect timing. And then really real estate didn't come for another, I guess, maybe 2 years after we met, 2.5 years. We got married, and then shortly thereafter, I guess about a year after we got married, you could just tell it was time. Her business was growing. There was a desire to grow bigger and do more things. And when I'm looking at my salary level and what I'm doing there, as well as what the possibilities would be if we had teamed up, and what kind of growth could we really have and build together. And then shortly thereafter, the Better Together Realty Group was
created.
All right. So, because at that time, right, I know, Haleigh, you were more seasoned in this particular field. So, were you able to she was able to help you, guide you, and, so you were...
Yeah.
People ask ease you into it, so to speak.
People ask me all the time, is it... they want to get into real estate, and it's like, hey, how is it? What was your process? What do you think about me doing it? And every single time I go, here's the thing, real estate's great, right? But I came in and I had a system, right? I came in, I knew what the things were going to be and how to plug in, and it was already built when I got here, right?
Yeah,
so just being able to run with it.
That's probably the hardest part about starting a business, because a lot of times real estate doesn't get the same persona as you're starting a small business. So when are you going to wake up and do every day? You're going to go to work, you're going to get dressed, go to work, and do what? That's always kind of the hardest part. So for Colton, I already had all the things I didn't have time to do anymore. So here you go. Here are the things that you're going to do. You're going to wake up, you're going to come to the office and do this. And that's kind of how the team got started, which is great. And at the same time, another one of our friends was looking for more administrative stuff, and so she helped out too. And so I just got to take me from only being in one place at a time to 3. And that was really, really cool.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
And another big transition that you're making here, Colton, is not only are you switching jobs, but you're making that jump to working with your spouse. So, how does that all come to fruition? Once you're already into, how does the whole Better Together thing come together?
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I started on the back end. So I was on the administrative side, learned from a top producer, all the back end, just thrown into Haleigh, figure out how to write the contract. I don't know what to tell you. Okay, cool. So figured all that out. Then I started being on the administrative side, touching every single transaction that came through that entire office, which was a big producing office. So I got to see lots of really random stuff, which was awesome. All these little details. And then it was like, I think I could do this on my own. We weren't even married yet. we were about to get married. So we've never actually had a normal income household ever. We're about to get married. I was consistent, and I'm like, man, I'm only making this much. If I go into real estate, I think we can make more money. I know we're not, like, we're in the process of getting married, like, I don't know, in the next 3 months. And I want to quit my job in full-time real estate. Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And so we jumped and did that. In the first 3 months of being in real estate full-time, full-blown listing and selling real estate, I had already made what I made the previous 12 months.
Wow.
So I was like, all right, well, that's the fun. Let's go.
That's a leap of faith that paid off very quickly.
Let's go. So started doing that, started becoming one of the top producers in the office, and it was a really competitive office, so that was a really big achievement.
That was big.
Started becoming there, and then it just got a little bit more obvious that, okay, I can't do this on my own. We obviously chose to spend our lives together, right? Like,
right.
You know, you would be good at this other side of it, on these things. Hey, you don't love your job? Why don't you just quit it?
Yeah.
And he's like, I have the steady income. You have the real estate income that is so inconsistent. I'm like, yeah, but overall, we made more money.
Okay, so there was some trepidation there. You didn't jump right in.
Yeah. No, it wasn't like, real estate. That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah,
Let me forget about grad school in the previous 6 years of my life.
Then he said, okay, Haleigh, well, if you make X amount of dollars, I will quit my job. And I said, all right, watch me.
She's making it sound much calmer than it was.
She's making it sound pretty easy and smooth.
Yeah, no, I would say it was a.
Well, we're 6 years removed from that conversation.
Well, true. So my ears aren't ringing from the volume, but it wasn't just one. It was multiple conversations, and then I finally was. I think I don't even remember the number, but it was at the time to me it was a number large enough that like there's no way she's gonna walk in and just like hand me a check. I said the number. She said, okay. And then, I don't know, a month later, if that,
I always
she walked in
laughed
and
at,
slapped a check on the table.
I did. So, you know, everyone has the superpower of if you write down your goal and you put it up somewhere, it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. So I wrote down the number. I want to say it was like $30,000 or $50,000. It wasn't like outrageous, but it was still like, oh, you're just going to bring that in next week? I'm like, yeah. So about 45 days later, I walk in and I'm like, hey, look at the bank account. He's like, what? And then for the next 2 weeks following that, did you quit your job today? Did you quit your job today? I did my part. Are you going to quit your job today? You know, and we started his real estate classes, you know, got him going. He had to go in and give us 2 weeks notice. He does that. We get involved, that same kind of thing, like, well, what am I going to do every day? I already know. I've already built it up. I just need you so that we can duplicate. We can duplicate. And so we did all that. He quits. He passes his test. He's licensed. We're going. And like 2 weeks later, it's like, oh, hey, I'm pregnant. And so then we now have no steady income, fully commission based, and we're starting our family.
Yeah,
also
no
insurance.
timing like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, self-employed, not great having a baby.
Insurance and all of that. And we had our best year ever. Growing a human. Colton's quit his job. We're now all in real estate. Now, granted, it was 2019, so that was leading up to different. 2020, 2021. Oh, yeah. Okay, so that was a really, really good time. But it was still, you know, scary. I had been in real estate for a couple of years while we were married, the first 2 years, and then after that, he joined in, because we've been married for almost 6 now. So, yeah, that math's out right. And started the family, all that kind of stuff. We had the best year. And then COVID hit the day after Kinley's born, like literally, she was born in February of 2020. COVID hit, and then that's when we knew, like, this is definitely what we're going to be doing forever, because I stayed home with Kinley. He went out and did all the appointments that I couldn't go to, and then it just, like, it was just solidified. This is absolutely what we're doing for our life.
Yes, what did COVID do to your 2020, after you're 19?
Well, you know, what's funny about that, and I'll speak to those numbers, but I think the best part about all of that for us was that I was able to go out, Haleigh was able to stay home while she was recovering. And then when she got to a point where she was ready to go back, we both were like, okay, so we have a 4 or 5 month old baby. We didn't want to take her to daycare. We didn't quite, you know, our parents are incredibly involved in
Thank
support.
Goodness.
Yeah, we wouldn't do it without them. But you know, at that point, we were able to say, okay, you go do the morning stuff, kind of make your calls, do what you got to do. I'm going to hang out with Kinley, and then at 1 o'clock, we'll swap. And then she would get it set up, and then I would go knock it down. And we were just playing past the baby, getting it done. And during that year, it wasn't quite as good as the previous year, but it was COVID was a weird time, but
Yeah.
we did pretty well.
Yeah, and that just teed us up for the we were on that path, just like everyone else in the industry. I mean, like we were having everyone had a really good 2021. Everyone had a really good 2022, right? And then this last year got a little bit harder. Everyone had to go back to those skills. Well, for Colton, he didn't even he's only known that marketplace.
Yeah.
I've been in it for 10 years, so I've seen a little bit more. But it sounds so cliche, but the basics, right? And so he didn't have any choice but to start there because I needed him to make those calls. We needed him to do all those things. I didn't have time to do all of them. Our sphere was growing. Our business was growing. So Colton, from the very beginning, he had to do those 5 things every single day. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
And then, I had a thought while ago. I lost it. I'll come back to
Yeah,
it
you
later.
guys tell me some more about like the struggles of this, because you guys are making this sound
thank you.
really like it was
Okay.
really easy.
No,
I'm about to
that
quit
was-
my job right now and
That
go
was
into real
one that I
estate.
was going to say. So
We've got room.
We have
Next home on Main.
Yeah,
Come
we're
on down.
hiring. We're hiring. But and it's funny, like I said a while ago, that first conversation was 6 years ago when we started all of this. But, it's been hard, right? Real estate isn't consistent. Like there's no ceiling, there's no floor. You still have to make money. Yeah, you can make, as much as you can, but you also don't get anything. You're not starting with a paycheck.
Right.
So there's no floor. So for us, for about 9 months, we're like, hey, Colton, why don't you go, let's try to find you another more consistent job that can cover some of the bills. Maybe we can get some other insurance. Maybe we can do something like this to try to help out because the market's shifting and, Kinley's full-time at school now. She's at a prep academy, but she's there. So I have more time to handle these things again. So maybe you can go and get something a little bit more consistent, and then we will be able to build and grow these other businesses because we have that steady income. We tried that. We did have the steady income. It was a very nice steady income.
It was great, but it didn't work.
And I was miserable. I was like, I need you. I can't do this. We're trying to run property management. We're trying to run our team. We want to open the brokerage. And I'm doing it all by myself because you have this steady income and I need you to come back. We can't do this. And that's when, again, all the way back to the better together. It's so cliche and so true. We were like, nah, we are better together. Quit that day job. Let's go back to the struggle because ultimately we are better when we're doing it together. So, it's hard. We wake up together. We are at work all day together. We go to sleep together. And there's plenty of times in the middle of the night, I'm like, oh my God, Colton, did you send that contract? Oh my goodness, did we call that person back? I forgot to send this.
11:30.
Yeah, 11:30. I've already been asleep for 2 hours because I'm a sleeper. And, I'm like, oh my God, in the middle of my sleep, Colton, did we send that thing? Can we talk about this in the morning? Well, we're going to forget because we got to get Kinley up and we got to get going. And so there are definitely struggles there in it, and it's not all perfect.
Well, and I think it works because we both love it.
Yeah.
When I did leave and I was doing the other thing for a little while, it was in real estate, but it wasn't the same.
Yeah.
Right, because we're working, but we're not building the thing of ours, right? I was working for somebody else. I wasn't building the thing that we intended to build the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I think when you pair this idea of I can wake up every day and struggle, sweat, and bleed for the thing that I'm building, it's mine, it's ours. This is our legacy, our future, versus doing it for somebody else. It was like, hey, there's a risk. There's risks with everything. Also, in the end, I think the juice is worth the squeeze.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And we have some really big goals. We've always had.
That was going to be my next question to close us out today. Tell me about what's next, but then we're going to be back with you guys again, and I want to discuss more about Better Health Together specifically.
Yeah.
But yes, tell me more about your overall goals.
We've been hitting some of them, which is
Yeah.
awesome. So,
Love that.
we wanted to open up a property management company, have a full service in real estate. So not just listing and selling, but also being able to handle your investment properties, manage those for you so that you can then collect that consistent income. We wanted to be able to provide that service. And then we didn't want to be working for anybody else. Even though you are in real estate, you're still working for a brokerage, and we were ready to become that brokerage that someone was working for. So now we were in the point of trying to grow the brokerage and property management. So we built them all up. The next goal is to get our office as a brokerage to that next level. We're ready to bring on the right type of agents who are ready to be good producers and take that where I can step out of production a little bit more and focus on development of other agents, because that is something that I really love and I think I'm good at. I've kind of been doing it the whole time, but now really, really focusing on that, and then growing property management to where property management is that now steady income.
Right.
Where we can get property management to be the bill covers, the life cover, then real estate gets to start becoming that investment where we get to start investing and doing things like that. So we're just ready to take it from we're doing all these things to now they're rolling and growing, and we're moving on up, leveling up.
Just takes time, consistency.
Ooh.
Do your push-ups.
No, I think that's awesome. It sounds like you guys are well on your way. I think it's great that a lot of people especially during the pandemic, couples at home wanted to kill each other, where you guys found a better way to coexist both personally and professionally. And
we did not have a choice. But with that, it really did. I mean, we fought through it, and it wasn't easy, but ultimately at the end now, I'm so glad that we didn't, just give up on that. Because we got through all the pain and the change and the change and the change and the change. And now we finally have the right system, and we are the right people in place to continue to grow it.
And at this point, if if something stayed consistent, I think we would feel awkward about it. You know what I mean? Just get used to moving. It's all pretty fluid. So
No, moving and changing seems like something you guys are very good at. So I want to hear more about Better Together specifically, but we can say that because we're out of time. But I just want to say thank you, Haleigh and Colton, Kurt. Tell us where they can find more about where they can find you.
Yes, so we are everywhere. We are based on Midlothian, Texas, but you can go to btrgpm.com or nexthomeonmain.com.
All right, sounds good. Thank you, guys. I'm Kevin E., and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.